it was as if like the planetary alignments were in place today, the 29th of October, to reflect the eruptions of the sun that have been in the direction of Three Eye Atlas over the past 2 weeks. And those sunspots are now coming back round to sort of face Earth, and they will be really facing Earth around about the 3rd and 4th of November, and that's very particular. And it was like that we had these planetary alignments going on. You should really go and see it. That it was almost as if like the sun was kind of like sort of wishing Three Eye Atlas well on its journey, and wishing wishing it well, and with a lot of affection through the planetary alignments. But at the same time, as it goes through on the 4th, there is, on the 3rd and the 4th, there is like 6 different planetary alignments in accordance to Three Eye Atlas. And they tell a story, those alignments, an incredible story of a conversation between the solar system, the whole solar system, and a visitor that's coming through our solar system. And, to say that Earth doesn't have consciousness and the sun doesn't have consciousness is consciousness doesn't stop at us. It's like we're so hell-bent on the idea that humans are the only ones with consciousness. And when we talk about the collective consciousness, people don't take into account the trees, the birds, the bees, all of those sort of things. And we should do. And because they have as much to say on the outcome of life as we do. We can dominate them physically, but that's all we can do really. And to think that a planet doesn't have sort of like consciousness, or a comet doesn't have consciousness, is ridiculous. And it does, and that's where it is. Three Eye Atlas is giving us an amazing gift on passing through our system. I don't think it's good for Three Eye Atlas to remain, or to stay, or even connect physically with the planets within our system, because we're not ready for that sort of information. But what is on passing, it's got to kind of go, I'll pick this up on the road. You may need this to understand what energy is all about. So that's what seems to have come through on the energy update over on Cymatic TV. I think you should find the link to it in the description. It will be about somewhere, or I can post it in the comments or something like that a little bit later on. Yes, so I was just going to do the messages from energy and go through the whole sort of messages from energy live, because I've been so busy today doing other things on that Three Eye Atlas and the alignments of the planets, and it's just phenomenal. Every single planet is involved, including the sun, including AI. Three Eye Atlas. I keep calling it AI. Three Eye Atlas. So yeah, it's. I'm really looking forward to the messages from energy. So I thought I'd do this live, and then basically after that we can talk about it. So I've turned off the comments on the recording sort of thing, simply because when I'm editing it later on, I'll get the comments in later on when we come into it later on. Obviously, if you want to participate through the meditative sort of states we go through during the messages from energy, or energy messages, you're more than welcome. And it'd be lovely to hear your sort of, what you feel and what you think and everything like that. So, because obviously between us we have the solution. Okay, so if we're all comfortable, we will get on with the messages from energy. Okay, so let's go into, first of all, let's talk about what's happened this week here more than anything else. Welcome to the energy messages. I found it personally, I found it a very productive week. Um, in the sense of sort of getting things done, not necessarily physically, although it is part of the physical world, but organising things and getting crossing T's and dotting I's this week a little bit. But it's also been emotionally driving as well. And I found pleasant peaks of emotions that come through the system this week here, which served as a releasing factor of pressure upon everything. So that's how I found this sort of week here with the energies. And so it may have been a little bit more orientated towards earth and water than earth and water and air, but there was certainly a lot of air stuff going on. And we could see that as well within the cymatic TV and the messages in there. So let's get on and see anyway. Let's go and get a chakra sequence in and see what's going on there, because that'd be interesting to see what's going on there. So we just got to connect to that energy now. We're sat upon this ley line here. So this that goes to a church, which is just down there, and the crossing point at a church about sort of like 25 meters away, just at the end of the garden. So here we go. There's that 0 point energy, and it's very empowering. That's what it seems to be at the moment, and it's real sort of like connected into the energy. It's really nice seeing the morphic fields and the colours that sort of move around, and I can see a lot on my hands as well, which is really nice. So, there's a lot of energy going on there. Let's just find that 0 point rather than looking at it. Here we go. We've got the 0 point there. This is really weird. Well, it's not really weird. The crown and chakra are there, crown and root. But I tell you what, the heart chakra that goes with it at the same time is phenomenal, and it's like the crown and the root. Let's get things in order here. The crown and the root here. Let me just see what's going on with there. Both of them are very. They're quite happily playing second fiddle, if you know what I mean, to the situation. They're quite happy, just sort of kind of going. We'll keep the road. Activating our vision that was last week was all about, and it's certainly with the crown chakras really playing into it. And the crown and the root here are sort of like they're very solid, but they're very much in the background. Okay, and then the moment we release ourselves from that, the heart chakra, and then the funny thing is once that heart chakra really does get engaged, and it does feel like it's lightening, and I can see this sort of film of energy on this section here as it goes up and then down. There's a definite band here which takes in the account this sort of like the heart chakra that's like a disc more than anything else, like a crystal disc that's within us. But it plays really well to the crown chakra and to the root chakra at the same time. And it's like, it's getting the heart here is, I talk about doing things and getting things in alignment and doing what you're supposed to be doing and so forth. And I'm a bit of a Capricorn like that, earth energy sort of person sort of thing. But here is like the heart is sort of saying, now get your heart into alignment with it. More than the physical side. And that could well be those emotions that have been coming out from the filament energy which we saw on cymatic TV. But it's not large and overwhelming. It's reaching. And we saw 2 or 3 weeks ago, I can't remember whether it was 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, the heart chakra was really, there was nothing in the center and it was all playing on the periphery. And here is like, it's almost as if like the wave has come in. And it's taking full glorious place within your life. and allowing you to really explore those heart's desires. And sometimes heart's desires can, turn people a little bit egotistical and stuff like that. But there doesn't feel like there's an ounce of worry or sort of maliciousness in it, at all. It's the most beautiful of luscious, purest of joyous, joyous energy, joyous energy. And it's sort of the message that comes from it is sort of like bring your heart into alignment with your consciousness and what you are physically doing, which keeps you grounded. And life should be fun. So make sure you enjoy. And I think it personifies that in a way. Okay, let's just see where it moves on to. I don't want to leave it in a way. Let me just get back to that 0 point. Let's find it out. There we go. We've got the crown and the root. There's the heart that comes back. Where does it move on to now? Okay, this is interesting. Okay, the throat is playing back fiddle to the third eye. So the third eye is incredibly extended here. It's all about inner vision. It's all about intuition. Not so much on the communication front, but very much about sort of inner vision. And that is backed up by the solar plexus. So this gives you a confidence. I think this is what the energy is trying to sort of bring through this chakra sequencing, is falling in line with your heart chakra and your heart's desires, as it were. But at the same time, sticking to that vision and having the confidence, because that's where you find confidence, is within your solar plexus. It finds that force to actually go ahead and do what you've got to do. And sometimes the general world could be sort of saying, oh yeah, that's a little, that's not the sort of thing you should be doing, and you just kind of get, just the conviction in your vision. That's what it's sort of saying here. The conviction in your vision and understanding of what you're seeing depends solely upon you rather than anybody else or the world outside in the human world. And when you start sort of living it, I think you're going to start realizing that a lot of other people are living that as well. And when you start recognizing that in the people around you, it's going to give you an enormous sense of power or empowerment that, yes, I am on the right path. So it's incredibly empowering, that inner vision with that solar plexus. Okay, where does it move on to now? Okay, now it does go into the sacrum. And it does go into the throat chakra after that. So these two here, they're like, the solar plexus and the third eye are playing together, but also the throat chakra and the sacrum. And this is here is when you've got the confidence in what you are trying to achieve in your life, regardless of what it is. Once you have that confidence to trust that inner vision, so it's not just an inner vision that's constantly kind of going, that mental voice that's constantly kind of do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. You just know that this is what I should be following as an inner vision. Once you've got that confidence there, it's going to be a lot easier for you and us as individuals to turn around to the world around us and say, if I wish to complete this inner vision, this is what I need. And it is conveying the needs to the outside world. And this is very strong manifestation sort of scenario going on here, of knowing those steps. And I talked about it last week, that the vision, certainly within the readings in the week, that you may have a vision that is at the moment impossible. But if you do these steps in your life, you will get to the impossible. The impossible will become possible. And this is an enactment of that, where we start manifesting what we need in order to live what we want. And the chakra sequencing is really motoring up to a rhythm that's kind of going, You've got this, people. You've got this. Whoever you are, you've got this. You can see it, you can feel it. You've got that determination, and it's all being driven by a heart to enjoy the exploration, to know, to learn, to see how far you can go in your dream. Not in your dream, because I'm not a great fan of that, but I think you should live very much awake. But it's helping you to explore the possibilities within your inner vision and within what you're supposed to be doing here on this planet, because you know it already. You don't have to learn it. You actually just need to remember it more than anything else. Okay, let's just see where we're going on to now. And then it goes back to the crown and the root. That sacrum is particularly strong. I think you shouldn't be, I don't think you should be cower away, shrink from expressing what you want or what you need in life in order to do what you want. And that could be, asking for a loan, or asking for help from a friend, or, asking for help. Say, like, you're trying to build a website, you don't know how to do it, and you've got a nephew that knows how to do these sort of things. Don't be frightened not to ask them. Involve people to a certain extent within your life, possibly, or situations, or even if it's just talking to the universe. I think that's what I think we need to be crystal clear with our needs in order to promote or provoke our wants out of this whole situation. That's what comes through in the chakra sequencing. If you approach it like that, it's going to be, I think it can be highly productive for you. Okay? Let's go and visit the portal and what have you. Let's get a message from the energy and so forth. Okay? So if you just, here we go, just finding that 0.0 energy. Getting all the different triggers so I can feel, hear and see the connections are all in one. There we go. We got that neutral point now, which is absolutely beautiful. Now we can follow that down the energy line. And as I go down the energy line, I can see the crossing point that's in front of me, and I can see the vortex. It's like a underground station. And I jump into that vortex. It seems to be pretty green today, which ties in green and light blue. So it seems to tie into that heart chakra sort of scenario. So going down into that energy there, we're going through the mantle of the earth, going down through the lava, as it were, coming through that void. Now it does make me feel like I'm turning upside down as I go through that void there. And I want to have a look at that in particular at the moment to see what's going on. There is definitely a build-up of pressure that's like a pressure cooker that's serving, that pressure is serving something. It's creating something. And I think it's creating a fluidity within the mantle, which is allowing the magnetic field to slip and slide as we go into pole shift. And I think it's helping, the surface of the earth in order to adjust to it slowly as it progresses in through the mantle, and it allows bubbles of inverted energy to come to the surface. And there does seem to be a lot going on. I remember someone asking about a month ago, what about Italy and Greece and the volcanoes over there? I do want to have a look at that and see what's going on, pull out a little bit, see what's going on. There we go. There is a lot of pressure under the Naples or European plate of the Mediterranean. There's a lot of thinning of the crust as well that's happening all over the place, really. It's almost as if the earth is really ready to expand, and it's elasticated. The earth does that. It breathes, and as it goes, it decreases. It falls back into the sea and then it expands again, and so forth. But that seems to be, there's another place I want to have a look at as well, which is just north of Australia in particular, as it goes up towards the throat chakra in Japan. I just want to have a quick look at that as well. There seems to be a lot of building of pressure as well, or a fluidity down in the northern part of Australia into Indonesia and all of those sort of islands there on that diamond, on that lower part of the diamond. And maybe that's where the slip is going to be first coming. That's where the poles are going to be crossing in the future. But there's an expression of, it seems like the earth is driving this rather than the sun is driving this. And, you know, in Cymatic TV saw that about how the sun is at the moment. It's not massively active, although it has moments, but it's not massively active. So let's just continue down that sort of void between the two as we go down towards the plasma ball. Let me have a look at what's going on with the plasma ball. I'm a pinball wizard, it's got to be the best. A pinball wizard, such a supple whiz. How do you think he does it? I don't know. Yeah, it looks like a pinball. Just thought I'd say that. It's really shiny. It's almost as if it's like mirror. It really is like a mirror at the moment. Really, like Mercury. That's what it seems like. It seems like Mercury. That's what it seems like. So there we go. We're down onto there. So, and it's like, you know the bit in the Matrix where he sticks his finger in the mirror? It's very similar to that sort of scenario. You know, and people talk about this being a prison planet and stuff like that. It could well be, but that doesn't change anything. You know, what we got to do, there's a lot of things that we need to work out. I'm going to slip inside through that. There we go. Getting into the center. Now we're into the center of that sphere, the plasma ball, as it were. I tell you what, there's, you know, I get this it's like a football supporters field, like a tribunes that go all the way around the central vortex, or the central, there is a vortex in there, but the central portal. And even it's very weird. It's like they're waiting for it's like they're waiting for the king to turn up, or a major to turn up, someone to, they're sort of like standing to attention. That's what I'm sort of saying. And they're really fixing on the portal, the Akash, in the small Akashic library, you got the librarians that are just sort of like, they're at their post and they're ready to, they're ready to go. And it just seems like this. So let me just, I'm wondering to see if I can speak to one of the administrators there. He's not even talking to me. He's almost as, without moving, he's sort of gesticulating through his being, sort of saying, go to the portal. Don't talk to me, go to the portal. So I'm going to do that. Okay. So we go in through the Akashic Library to, like, it's equivalent of a well in the middle. That's what it looks like a little bit. The portal with a sort of like the energy that's just going up. And let's just see what we get from a message from the portal there. This is pretty much universal energy on direct, as it were. Wipe the slate clean. It's wipe the slate clean and remember all that you already know. So it just keeps repeating that. Wipe the slate clean, and you will. So it's like there's a whiteboard that you've been doing lots of formulas on, that we've been working out a lot of stuff, on a whiteboard. And it's almost sort of saying, just wipe the whiteboard through, because there's a lot of, now certain things. It's like there's a lot of information that's going to be coming through, which is going to affect everything we know. And it's like it's almost as if like there's a question each of us are dealing with, and about life. We've each got our own question to ask the universe, and it's like all the administrators and the Akashic library librarians are all there, sort of kind of going, "We're ready when you have the questions." And it's like yeah, it's understanding not only energy but spirit, understanding geological, understanding how the universe talks through solar systems, how solar systems talk amongst themselves, how a solar system will talk to itself as well, and how we do it. We are just a mirror of all of this. The human society, we're just a complete and utter mirror to it all. It's reflecting, human society is reflecting it within that sort of like that pinball, as it were. And it's sort of saying we can have all the information that we need, and we will discover things, and then we will have to streamline it or take what we know and fine tune it. And it's all about fine tuning it. So wipe the slate clean so you can be prepared to be amazed by what you will remember in regards to energy, or in regards to spirit, or in regards to history or geological. Or you'll understand a lot of how things work if we just clear away the clutter of the past. You won't forget the past. You should never forget our ancestors and what we did and the traditions and stuff like that. But at the same time, life does move on and new traditions and so forth are created. And this is what it's trying to sort of say here. If you can create new traditions in alignment with what's already come to pass, it's just an enhancement of what we already have. And that's what it's talking about here. It's be prepared for an enhancement for what we already have. And it's living with that heart. And that's the funny thing is that the heart chakra, the cymatic TV talking about the explosions or the eruptions in the direction of 3i Atlas was in that sort of vein there. There seems to be, I'm getting the Three of Cups. It's like this celebration of the coming together of various things that, you're going around like it seems like we've been going around a labyrinth for a long time, and we've all been started in different places, and it just seems like in moments you'll just come out into an opening where two of other people or two ideas or two concepts will come out of two other places, and it will fit perfectly with your concept, and it's the accumulation together, which is really, really nice, that comes out of that. Really good sort of synergy of being, sort of a way of doing things. Okay, that's really, really beautiful. Okay, so let's I thank you everybody for all of this and stuff like that. Okay, and there we go. I'm just going to step out of that onto the sphere. So we're outside now and we're onto the sphere. Okay. Now this is where I'd like to speak to Mother Earth, as it were. She is just, it's like, last week I said get your glad rags on. I think there was something about that. It's not a wholesome Mother Earth that I see before me. It's much more of a divine queen, dressed in a very elegant white, as it were. It's time to celebrate creation. And creation is not necessarily something physical. It is also something metaphysical, spiritual. emotional, energetical. It is a celebration of that and an accumulation or coming together of everything, of various different ideas. But it seems like, Mother Earth is here to, it's like a big ball that's happening, a real sort of celebration. Be your finest example. Be your finest example. I think that's what she's sort of saying to us. So thank you very much. Okay, so let's just see if we can get that vortex coming through now. Here it is, there it is. Just jump in that. Make it up through the crossing point up there. Make it back up down the ley line, back into the body, and find that 0 point energy again, where everything just fades away. Absolutely brilliant. I think there's a multitude of things that contribute to this increased speed or of evolution, of understanding that we're doing. And it comes from a multitude of different areas. It may come from, nature, trees, animals and so forth, but it may also come from the technology side of things as well. But it seems like here, and certainly with the coming together of the 3 cups, it just seems like there's a celebration of understanding that's coming out of it. And it's going to be I think it's going to be a week like no other. I think it's going to be a great week like no other. And once you start living it, you'll start recognizing other people that are living it. And I think we're going to start to realize that actually, okay, there's a lot more people living it than we thought. And maybe that becomes the new norm and the new raison d'etre. It becomes more empowered than certain traditions that may need to be completely reevaluated, of the way in which we govern ourselves and the way we exchange, the way we treat one another. There's a lot of things that can evolve, because the majority of people, rather than doing anything to stop something, to fight against something, where it should be a case of kind of going, I'm not even going to bother fighting against trying to change the system or anything like that. I'm just going to create a new one. Sort of thing. That's the feeling I get from it. And it's time to dance and be seen by the entire universe that we are actually doing it. Great energy. Great energy. Great energy. So there you go. That's the messages from energy. Thanking you very much for being here. I'm not leaving anywhere now. We're just going to be chatting with everybody that's on the live. If you've got any questions and everything like that, you're more than welcome to ask, and we will be connecting with that and seeing what everybody comes up with, if anybody's got anything in particular. So, if you're new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and all of those sort of things, and certainly comment. It's really important. I think that's the most important thing. It's commenting and getting involved. I think is really, really nice. What are you feeling? Okay, so let's get back to the comments and see what's going on there. Don't forget, life should be fun, so please do enjoy. Let me bring up the comments now. So there we go. We got the few comments. Excuse me. Let me go back a few things. Glad the workshops. Yep. Good evening, Tom. So hello hello, Margaret. Scott, hello. How you doing? Kayan, how you doing? Is it Girl with a Pearl? Hello, how you doing? And Maria, how you doing? Imagine all the people. Is that what you're singing, Maria? Fair play to you. What's the assignment? Is my question. It should be, what's my assignment? That's what the assignment is, I think. No one else can tell you what you've got to do. That's the beauty of this new understanding. Not one person is going to tell you what you should do. Once you start doing it, you'll know whether it's right or wrong. Certainly if you follow in with your heart and stuff like that, and you probably do know that, Ken. I'm probably not telling you anything you don't know already here, but once you allow your heart to sort of like engage in your pathway, you'll know straight away, should I be doing this at this particular time or should I not? That's the main question. It's not why should I be doing this. Don't worry about that. It should be a case of, should I or shouldn't I be doing this? So that's all of a sudden it becomes blatantly obvious. And your what's it called? Your assignment may be made up of lots of different things. It may be, connecting with your neighbour on one level, meeting or working down in a cafe at another level, or drawing pictures, and whatever it is. It's a multitude of different things that come into it. That this is what I should be doing, and this is when I should be doing it. And I think that's where the celebration comes out of it. So I think it should be, what is my assignment, rather than what is the assignment. So it's what feels good for you. What would you like to see happen in the world? Okay, what would you like to see happen in the world? And and as I said before, that idea, I'd like to see a world where there's no war, there's we don't need money anymore, and that sort of thing. That's we all know that this very second is probably quite impossible. But I do think we know the steps that we need to take in order to get there. So it may come out as really big at the moment, and it's how you put it into your inner vision of how you apply it in your life, for you. So it's I think it's more of a case of, what is my mission? What is my assignment in all of this? And at the end of the day, I think you know already, Kayan. You just need to do it and follow it. Interesting. There was I did see another question there, I think, earlier on about interesting blue and vibrant green colours from Freezy. Yes, someone said something about what are you feeling in your hands? Well, this is where at the weekend workshop, we doing the dowsing, and first you start off with sort of dowsing rods. Have I got them here? Oh, they're in the kitchen. You start off with dowsing rods, and then you move on to the body and so forth. And you can actually use your hands for dowsing. And this is when we go on to the next workshop, where we're doing, start dowsing auras and chakras and stuff like that. But we're no longer doing it with dowsing rods. We're doing it with our bodies and primarily with our hands as well. And you can start, once you start feeling the energy resistance, it's like feeling that ball. The ball, we feel more like this because we put resistance from the nadis. There's resistance in it. If you do it like this, you may find that the energy pulls your hands together. So you find this sort of like resistance and stuff like that. So once you find this resistance, it's like a blind person. You can literally feel the contours of the energy fields. So that's what I feel in my hands. Interesting vibrant colours. Yes, imagine living life in peace. Yeah. I bet Scott's singing now. Scott does a lovely channel program of spreading joy and happiness through awareness of what people are trying to do in groups, which is absolutely brilliant, and also singing. So I should imagine Scott is also singing um, the praises of Imagine. Um, yeah. Has anybody seen the energy update over on Somatic TV and about the alignments? Has anybody got any ideas on that sort of thing? You know, there's a lot of people been, talking about Three Eye Atlas. It seems to be like wildfire at the moment, and there is a message that comes along with it. And yes, it is conscious, as I said earlier on, but at the same time, I'm not sure. I think technology goes way beyond, Starship Enterprise. Goes way beyond that. If you start traveling between, solar systems and around the galaxy, man, you got to think of a different way than the diesel engine. um, so yeah, girl with a pearl. What's that? What's that symbol? Is that fire? Is it? Is it? I've been singing Pinball Wizard. Have you really, Tina? Pinball Wizard, he's got to be the best. The Pinball Wizard. How do you think he does it? I don't know. Yeah, great song that. Comes from a great movie. Or rock opera, as it were. And I tell you what, funnily enough, the alignments of the planets in the energy update that I go into in the energy update, if you imagine it's like cannons of energy that synchronizes the energy, and it's some of them are going across the sun like that, some of them are going across the sun like that, some of them are going across not even through the sun, doing a barrier one side and doing a barrier the other, and then there's other ones that are doing like barriers on, and it's creating it's creating like I'm going to map it because I think it's creating an actual shape, and I likened it to the Eye of Horus within the messages or the energy update. I likened it to that, and it's, if you think of Horus, it's all, Horus was all to do with timing and the timing of the universe and stuff like that, and everything turns up everything is where it should be. 3-Eye Atlas is exactly where it should be, because it's conveying a message to us, but it's conveying a message that is something that we can tangibly understand, rather than giving us fantastical illusions that one day will be illuminated. But where we are at the moment as a planet, I don't think we're capable of understanding the bigger the picture. But we will do it in very short periods of time. But it seems to be sorting a lot of chaff from the wheat within what could be perceived within the energy and spiritual world. So, there may be, there's going to be fallout from it, people. There's going to be fallout from it over the next 2 weeks. There's going to be a lot of fallout from a lot of things that people have been pushing on, in social media for for quite a few weeks now. And I think we're getting to a stage where some of it is going to come unstuck, and it's going to be quite interesting to see what the reality is of it all. For it. So, I think that's what's sort of coming through at the moment. What about the chakra sequencing? How did you get on with that? Is everyone okay with that? Is it like because there's a sense to the rhythm. It's like when you hear a song that you recognize, you can get into that rhythm. I've got like a oh man, what's his name? The guitarist guy, and it's I can see him and everything like that. I've even got the song playing in the back of my head, but I can't bring it to the fore. Uh, Lay down, Sally. No, it's not. He didn't play. He did lay down, Sally, but it's another one of these songs. It's about sort of like feeling the fire within in ourselves. Woke up with O Fortuna, uh, with the O Fortuna that I'd prefer Pinball Wizard. I don't know O Fortuna. What's Fortuna? Is it Spanish, Julie? As above, so below is the alignment of energies. Exactly. That's what seems to be happening here. And with that alignment, it's like you can see a light in the mist somewhere, and all of a sudden the mist clears, and you kind of go, "Oh, I thought it was that. I thought it was the moon, but it's not. It's it's a helicopter." But it's like that's that sort of realization, that sort of things as below as above, so below, and it is that alignment with those energies that give us the clarity of vision and clarity of things. But the chakra sequencing, just sort of like getting back to that, is a really good way of getting into a rhythm that you can come back to all of the time. That's sort of Off Omen, the film. Dun, 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 dun. Is that the one? Dun, 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 dun. So it's a good omen, maybe. Let's hope so. It's a way of approaching life, and that rhythm can turn over so quickly that you wouldn't even recognize. When I do the chakra sequencing, I'm slowing it down, but in theory, it's constantly way much more quicker than I can or anybody could sort of like feel or analyze. You have to slow it right down, and it's like those sort of like that turning wheel that the beginning of cinema with the horse, and it's just got a slit that as the thing goes past, you seem to get that impression that the horse is running. It's that's what we're doing here when we're doing the chakra sequencing. When you can sort of, that was it, Judy? That is it. Mozart, I get into Requiem, which is I love. But anyway, that's how the chakra sequencing, and once you can recognize that of how to approach life in the way of approach life in that sort of rhythm, it does really help you to approach and create your pathway going forward. Every morning I awaken with a song in my head that I may have not heard in a long time. Okay, and it seems to be a message. I think there's a lot of messages in music. I've got into this song at the moment, which is what you won't do for love, and it's a particular reggae version of it which I really enjoy, and it's just sometimes it overtakes me and just kind of I can't put that on. I've got to hear it. I got to hear it to get it out of my head, and that's what life's a bit. I've got to get into that rhythm. I've got to live it. I can't just dream about it. Don't just dream about it. Do it. So yeah, there you go. I hope you enjoyed the live version of the energy update. You're welcome to ask any other sort of questions about that, concerning that. Lovely to see everybody here. So it's okay, and gets that too as well. Apparently, Maria. Often get that too, and it won't quit until whatever it is happens, or I get what it means. Yeah, it's persistent like that, isn't it? It's like the monkey mind, music, or those sort of messages. It won't. It's like like in Harry Potter when he's stuck under the staircase and the owls just keep delivering more and more letters. Either you listen to it and answer the messages, the calling, or it'll just keep calling louder and louder. And I would definitely listen to it, and I do on every single day. Songs definitely for me are a message. Get a lot from my granddad. Yes, Bee Gees, Massachusetts. I don't know the words to Massachusetts. I can hear it. The Massachusetts. This comes from a band that comes from Australia with an English bent on it. They're originally from Australia, aren't they? I think some of them are. Great voices. I wish I could have been more interactive. Cashier job, low. Tina. Well, just that initial, I think everybody, and me included, you know what I mean? Sometimes, in the past, money has been the driver and stuff like that, and you got to do what you got to do, and I understand that. And you got to look at it either sort of kind of going, okay, so do I live to work or do I work to live? And possibly you should be looking at the moment to work to live. So I go to work, I'm very happy about going to work. Give me the money at the end of the day so then I can go and spend it on what I want to do for myself and what I want to explore. Once you start exploring it, who knows? You may actually kind of turn around and kind of go, do you know what? I want to do that as a job. So I'm leaving my job, my other job. So the journey starts somewhere. And even it could just start with the idea of kind of going, okay, I'm going to work to live. And once I start living, then I'm going to live to work. And once you do that shift and you start, sorting things out, so you actually, you feel empowered about what you're doing if you're not feeling empowered about it. And, I love speaking to people. I would love being a cashier for a while. I'd love to work in a sandwich bar or cafe behind the bar because I love speaking to people and seeing how they are and everything like that. And that's maybe, I could quite happily be that. So it's just making sure you've also got that time to sort of explore. If you don't feel you're exploring it enough within what you do in the way of work, make sure you work to live so then you can then explore what you want to experience, as it were. I got Johnny Cash, Ring of Fire. Yeah. I introduced Walk the Line to my daughter the other day. Absolutely love Johnny Cash. Really love Johnny Cash and Men in Black and everything like that. The news reporter, his house got burnt down, did it? And the dance song stopped. Okay, his house got burnt down. Johnny Cash started one of the biggest forest fires in American history or something. He's quite an amazing character. I was in Istanbul just hours before the earthquake. Okay, and there was a definite energy about that while I was there. Very unsettling energy. Do you know what? That's one of the ways they do detect earthquakes as well. There's also gases that they look at, typical sort of gas releases, but it's also to do with magnetic fields or electromagnetic charges in the area that's happening. And when I'm predicting earthquakes, that's what I do, when I'm looking down the energy lines. Julie, I need to find a job to pay for my new barefoot shoes. Barefooting is one of the best ways to keep you healthy. Just get into it. It's a really good thing. Maria, now I'm here visiting in America, and I feel a very different energy, heavy energy, and very anxious or intense. Well, it's that crossover point, I guess you're saying the United States when you say visiting America. You have that sacrum in America, and it's all about what do we need to do in order to solve the problem, whatever issue it is. And I feel like America's, the United States is really living that sort of sacrum energy at the moment, fight or flight sort of scenario within it all. And I can understand that it is pretty intense at the moment. I get pressure headaches before bad quakes. That's another thing as well. People do get physical things before quakes and so forth. I've been homing in on trying to predict solar sun flares through the magnetic field of the sun, but also of how it interacts with me and how it physically sort of like plays into me. So, you're down in Texas, are you? Down in Texas. Is that the Panhandle? Is that what they? No, that's Florida, isn't it? Yeah, Texas, nice place. I've got some friends out that way. How you doing? Lovely to see you. Yeah. So there you go. Sorry I missed the live on Sunday. Obviously I was giving the workshop up in Kirby. We were going to do the live and then we ended up doing something else, a meditation about visiting the centre of the earth and going to visit the sun. Long time since I've done a collective meditation. It's very interesting. I've got dulcet tones apparently when it comes down to the meditation, and it can be incredibly relaxing, maybe a bit too relaxing at times, but incredibly relaxing. So, and I will be doing the live this Sunday as well. If you want to be part of it, come and join us. Questions and answers. Any particular suggestions, please put them in the comments of any of the videos, because I do look at all the comments. Put in comment in any of the videos of any sort of topic suggestions you want us to look into, and we will do that on Sunday. Okay? Thanking you all so very much for being here. It's been an absolute pleasure. It's been a musical... It's been a musical energy messages, which is always good to have. I'm well up for that. And yes, I will see you all very soon. Either it'll be on the the weekly readings or other videos that we're going to be putting out on this channel and so forth for the weekend and so forth. So if you've got any suggestions, more than welcome to sort of see them. It'd be absolutely glorious, absolutely beautiful to see everybody. I will see you all soon. In the meantime, don't forget, life should be fun. So please do enjoy. Make sure you do go and see that sort of messages, the energy update on Cymatic. It's mind-blowing, the connections. Coral, how you doing? Lovely to see you. Lovely to see everybody. I'll speak to you all soon. Okay. Ciao for now.